Hey Becky.
Hey Dana, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing
Yeah,
pretty good. Did you listen to Hospitable's call this morning?
I wanted to, but I was too busy at work. I didn't get to hop on. So I was hoping maybe someone on the call tonight listened and could give the highlights of the call. I was saying to Frankie, I'm like, I think we did everything. I was like, can you text Becky? Because I didn't want to screw up like trying to set up stuff for sweet memories and screw up the palms. But I think everything is up price properly. I hope. I don't know.
Yeah, when I checked, it was still good. It hadn't
Okay.
even like Airbnb hadn't even applied the whatever. They hadn't even merged it yet, so the new fee hadn't been done, and I was gonna go in and maybe just I don't know. In the call, obviously a lot of different perspectives talking about in the call. Mostly they just like explained it. Their reasoning for trying to be gung ho on this, they don't want it to look bad on Hospitable if people are out a bunch of money. And
Uh-huh.
that's why they were trying to push the markup so much, which is super helpful. And then, just explaining where they got their numbers from. And they just did a bunch of
Because
Q&A.
some something when we looked at it, like if you clicked on hospitable to do what their suggestion was, it was like 3%. It went from 3% and then it had an arrow in a box. And then it said to increase up to 18.34% or
Yeah.
something like that. But
So,
then, yeah, if you, I don't know, can you explain that or what that was about?
yeah. Hold on just a moment. Let me get this. I got my AirPods on. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, okay, cool. So what has happened there is prior to this move, like traditionally, Airbnb has taken 3%. So a lot of people have marked up 3% already. And then, but for most people in the program, we don't ever talk about doing that. We just eat the 3% because we added it into our underwriting. So if prior to today, if your markup for Airbnb was zero, then you're going to do 14.8 markup. And that puts you at that's the number to keep your prices the same. If you beforehand already marked up for 3%, then it would be 18.34 to add that additional. It's basically if you do the 14, you're still willing to take the bullet on the 3% that you've always done.
Got it. Okay.
Or if you're the person who, marked up 3% prior, then yeah, that's just the two
That
different
makes
numbers.
sense.
Both are accurate, the 14.8 or the 18.34.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. I'm nervous to do this. I don't want to screw up the other one, and I also don't want to like not address it and then someone take advantage of, oh, someone, is sleeping on upping the fees and then we're out the money because
Right.
we didn't do that. So I think we should be good. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Has there been talk? I don't think it would be on Hospitable's end, but with Airbnb, I've read from other people in the industry saying, this is just the warm up of things to come and that they may increase, the percentage to be more in line with other sites and that down the road, in order to gain visibility and being boosted on the platform, that you may have to pay to be seen more. Like, I don't know if that's, or if people are just speculating and saying these things, but that could be down the road.
Yeah, I haven't heard any more about like further fee increase. Um, Hopefully this is all because come 2026, right? So right now they're only increasing the fee for people utilizing property management systems. And then 2026 is when the rest of it will be implemented. As for I have heard of the like kind of like subscription model that Airbnb talks about where you have to start paying kind of a monthly fee in order to be boosted. I've heard him talk about that on his earning calls, I believe is where I heard that. Um, I do think that's something that they're, you know, that is in the talks with Airbnb at some point, because we all know that Airbnb is like no longer a mattress on the floor. It's no longer just a basic 3 bedroom. It's an experience, right? Like they're trying to make Airbnb to where it is, you know, it is the destination. People are coming to, Fort Lauderdale or to Bradenton or to San Antonio specifically for your Airbnb is what they're wanting Airbnb to become so that it's no longer competing with the hotel industry. Um, so yeah, that is a thing probably one day. So that's again just another thing to weed out the bottom half of the listings who are not participating in that growth, I guess. So always changing, but so far your properties are definitely keeping up. I mean, I don't imagine you won't like you probably got 10 years, before you have to before the next big crazy thing happens in Airbnb. In the sense of like, I don't mean that as in like there won't be changes. I mean like, from whatever early 2000 when they started and it was mattresses to 5 years ago when it was okay, any 3 bedroom with a mattress worked. And now, you know, it's just starting to become a little bit more resort style.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah. So should be plenty of time now. But yeah, that's mostly what I
Well,
have heard. And
okay.
then what was the other thing? And then the call. Okay, so a lot of people talk about in the call, they were worried about, okay, how are we going to stay competitive? If this fee is only applying to the hosts that are using property management systems, how are we going to compete with the ones that are not using property management systems that are 15% lower in price or whatever? And the idea is that most of the time they're not even going to be your competitors. Most people that are competing at the level that people in this program are and that you are going to have property management systems. They're either going to be property managers themselves or be just as high level hosts as
Mhm.
you or I would be.
Yeah.
So I don't think any of the comps that I have for one of your properties, like I don't imagine any of them are just bottom level hosts. So
Yeah,
it
that's
shouldn't.
what I think a lot of people have said. And I was talking
Hmm.
to Emily about it, and the people, and that was the other thing, like, oh, if I was planning a trip, like it might be a nice time to like look now today of other people who are kind of sleeping on the changes, and you could take advantage of a discounted whatever stay. But
Yes.
also those are probably not the properties you want to be staying with, because they're not the people who are on top of their things.
Hmm.
And if they can't get their pricing figured out, like what is the space like and the property itself like. So
Yeah.
while it may be a discount, it might not be the type of place you want to stay at.
Yeah. I guess it depends on your standard. I'm
Yeah.
somebody like I hate to pay for a place to sleep. Like I love running Airbnbs. I love all of this side of things, but when I am trying to find a place when I'm traveling, I want to be there minimally.
Hmm.
I'm typically coming back at 10 o'clock at night and leaving at 6 in the morning and exploring wherever I'm at or working or something.
Uh-huh.
So I'm somebody who's like a cheapskate when it comes to a place to stay.
Okay. Well,
I'll,
then you
I'll
should have
stay at
you
the
should have
best
tried
deal.
booking for yeah, you should book today for your places and
Hmm.
find somewhere. No,
Yeah.
I know.
Ooh, the other thing I heard too is so booking.com is also at that like 15% commission fee. And then I have heard that Verbo eventually will try to start matching as well. So that's coming in 2026 also.
Okay.
But then eventually they'll be pretty similar.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, hello everybody else. How are you
Hello.
guys doing? How are you, Kim?
Good. I
Good.
did. I kind of came today because of the Airbnb migration or the host fee
Yes.
migration, such. So was curious. Sounds like you were on the hospitable call earlier.
Hmm. Yep.
Okay. Um, so it was funny because I was in the meeting and I was, like playing around in both hospitable and Airbnb as they were talking about different things and stuff. And at one point, Airbnb, I was in a spot where I could see an option to switch between,
Hmm.
and now I can't find it again. So
Okay.
does that mean? it already switched for me, or is it, am I just not finding it
Um,
again?
well, let's check. So let me get into Airbnb real quick.
Because I
Then you go to
look,
account settings, right?
mm-hmm, as a
Account
host,
settings.
right?
Yep, as a host, and then go to payments and then service fees.
And see, I don't have an option for service fees.
It
I don't
just
have a
says
button.
payments and payouts.
I have, yeah, payment across the top. It's payments, payouts, and Airbnb.org donations.
Then they must have already done it. That's
That's
my
kind
only
of what
thought
I
because,
figured.
yeah,
Okay.
because mine still says it. I don't have any listings on mine because I'm just co-hosting, but mine still says it.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Because I was like, I swear I saw it and I was going to show it to Scott. He was busy in another meeting. And I was like, now I can't find
Yeah.
it again.
Let me check my other account. I have multiple.
Yeah. Because I was going to like, I can switch it if they haven't switched it since Hospitable already upped my pricing, the pricing as such. But then
Yep.
when I went back to do it, and I was like, oh, now it's gone. Hopefully that means they've already done it.
Yep. I believe they already have. Because I know this morning during the call, most people were saying that they weren't seeing it yet, like them switch to that. So, but they should by the end of today is supposed to be what they're doing.
Yeah. Because the fact that during the call, there was only like 2,000 or so that had migrated.
Hmm.
That was kind of crazy, but maybe they
Yeah.
didn't start as early.
Yeah, apparently not. I'm like, they must be Alaska time like me. My goodness.
Could be.
But yeah. So did you have any other questions about from the call or anything? Is it all making sense? I don't know if you heard everything I was talking to Dana about or not.
I came in the tail end of it, so
Okay. Yeah, we're just kind of talking about like competitiveness, right? Kind of the biggest fear right now is because this fee is only applying to the ones that are using property management systems, what that means, for being competitive, competing against the ones that don't have systems. But basically, like at the level that we're at, where the likelihood of us competing with the lower level Airbnb listings aren't likely.
yeah,
If we're competing with the top 10 listings, top 10% of listings, they're all going to have some sort of management service. So that's not too much of a worry there,
right.
which is good because I almost had a worry. I was going to be that person who was all worried, and then that finally clicked. Shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Vishal? Any questions?
Yeah, hey Becky.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, my main question was just about kind of like seasonality and things like that. So, I guess
Yes.
like the lead up to now is so the property that I got with B&B Leverage a couple of years ago, the lease on that ended a few months ago, so I moved to a new property in Westminster, and so
Okay.
been operating it since August. So like September, October have been pretty decent. But November, I only have like one booking so far, and it's for Thanksgiving week, and it's from VRBO. And so, just looking at like price labs, I think I'm like a little bit below, the what do you call it? The
Like the market.
like market total occupancy for like next 7, 30, 60 days. And then I also have like an interesting issue that arose today. Where so I got on Rank Breeze as well, and I made like some changes yesterday to just like title, order of photos, all that kind of stuff. Because I've like read online that staying active and whatnot like helps the algorithm and whatnot. But now what I've seen is, and I can just actually just quickly share my screen if that's okay, just to show you,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
let me
it
make sure.
appears to have like backfired significantly. And so I'll show you what I
Mm,
mean. I've been in contact with Airbnb about this just to ask like why this is the case. But like
mm.
Yeah, if you can look here, like it's been fluctuating across like different guest counts, and then as of yesterday, it was like on page 2, which honestly for me is like still way too low. But then today it goes down to like page, average is like page 9 or something like that. So my hunch would be, based on something that I think Emily told me a couple months ago, which is that like in changing all these things, I upped my guest count from 8 to 10 because like technically I do have like extra beds that can fit 10, but I only have 2 bathrooms in my place. And so I think that Airbnb doesn't really like that like people to bathroom ratio. And I'm wondering if that's maybe the reason, but so pretty much this is where I'm at now, where like the problem of minimal bookings has become a little worse by this page rank. So I'm just wondering if you've seen this before, if you have any thoughts. And again, I've like been talking to Airbnb support like throughout the weekend and talked to someone today, had them escalated to a supervisor because again, like I have like 7 5-star reviews, nothing else. And then the property's been pretty good overall, have a hot tub, all that kind of stuff. So this page rank doesn't doesn't really make sense. So I guess my question is like, have you seen this before and just any thoughts you have?
Yeah, can we go and compare it to what Airbnb says under the insights?
Sure. Is that like in Rank Breeze or in
Nope,
Airbnb?
in Airbnb.
Okay,
I just don't have 100% trust in rank breeze, so I like to make sure that they're at least like semi-similar
sure.
before
Okay.
I try to, you know, jump off a bridge because I'm frustrated.
Yeah, makes sense. So you're saying just going into the
So this
insights.
is a this is a 3 bedroom.
3 bedroom, yep.
Okay, so I mean, if you have 3 bedroom, 2 bath, that's a pretty good ratio. Um, and then but you're talking about guest counts.
Yeah, and that I've made it 8. Like I think it's been pretty good. I've seen parties of like between actually on VRBO I even had like a 1 person stay, but on Airbnb between 2 and 8, with like
Yeah.
4 to 6 being consistent.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I know. I have not seen that be an issue just because a majority of the top properties that make the most revenue are
Mhm.
like these very large homes that
Mhm.
are maybe 5 bedroom and house 16 to 20 people. So
Yeah.
obviously the ratio is terrible there and they're still doing fine. I haven't noticed that be a big factor, but that's something that I'll mark just to like keep an eye on. Um,
Okay.
but let's go over here.
Yeah.
I did notice, well, actually we'll go over that next.
Yeah.
Go to insights. Yeah. And then go down here to conversion and then change. Do you only have one listing or you have multiple?
Just one on this account.
Okay. Okay, the typical conversion rate that you'd like to see, well, actually, let's change the dates on here. Can we change them? I don't know, maybe back to like at least August, maybe even July.
Okay. So this property, I think it went live like mid-August, so
Okay,
maybe do
so
that.
yeah, let's do the last 2 months then. Okay, so you're having pretty good conversion according to this. So obviously we're looking at multiple factors, but they say between 40 to 60% is kind of what's okay. I listen, we all learn from somebody.
Mhm.
This group they listen to that has like hundreds of properties on their top properties that are performing the best, they were seeing that conversions are between 40 to 60% first page search impression rate. Same thing for the average search to listing. So how many times that you're on the first page or how often you're on the first page, and then how often someone clicks from your listing, sorry, from the page to the listing itself, which is also going
Mhm.
to be about 40 to 60%. So you're within that range. And then even listing to booking conversion at 1 to 3% range is what they were seeing as well. So your numbers here aren't they're not scary at all. They look pretty good.
Mhm.
Um, if you were to see like, let's say this one was here and this one is at like 10%, then obviously
Mhm.
the issue is between people seeing you on the travel page and then converting to your listing, right? So it's making it more appealing. First thing they're seeing is your cover photo, things like that. So that makes you think that you're attracting people to your page. And that's not an issue, at least overall in the last 2 months. So let's try to go something a little bit more. Can we do more recently? I haven't tried to do,
Mhm.
normally I do like multiple months worth, but let's just
Okay,
try just October.
sure.
See what it says. Okay, so still doing pretty good. Like, but in terms of like how often you're on first page and how often people are transitioning to your listing isn't terrible. It's slower. It's definitely slowed down. Okay, so next let's go to views and then scroll down and then over time, let's change that to similar listings. Okay, you've definitely come down in October, even on here. So that kind of validates a little bit what, and the date ranges are pretty similar too, kind of validating what Rank Breeze says. Okay, let's go to your listing.
Sure.
So typically I don't recommend doing a photo of the house. You're
Yeah.
okay, you have a hot tub, right? That is your
Mhm.
absolute key like
Yeah.
amenity in the whole house. I would, what did you have as your cover photo
Yeah,
before?
so I'll say on the hot tub was a cover photo before. Essentially, like this was just part of when I was playing around with it. Like this photo was all the way at the bottom, but like whenever I move this out, and again, this is me just kind of guessing on what the algorithm likes, where it's like, I have the cover photo as a hot tub, and then, oops, when I go to all photos, I get like the little suggestion. Oh, there it is. Yeah. I get the little suggestion from Airbnb saying
Yeah,
like lead with don't do this.
trash. Their
Okay.
suggestions are trash. They're about as
Okay.
trash as smart pricing is.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So
It,
that's good to know. So again, it's like for the most part, I've had that hot tub as a cover photo. I'm just gonna move this all the way to the bottom. But yeah, so for the most part, I've just had this. I've had, yeah, pretty much like all of these photos. I don't need two kitchen photos, so I put like
okay.
this
If you're
one.
going to change any photo, what I would do, because in Colorado, I noticed that a lot of people have the collages, and I don't
Mhm.
recommend this for every market, but because it is a common trend in your market, I would probably make a collage. I'd probably do
Okay.
one of the hot tub. This is obviously very unique, balcony or whatever it is, and then your games.
Mhm.
Like right now, like we are talking about with Dana earlier, in the next, where Airbnb is going is like resort style, right? They want every property to be a mini resort and kind of just hold on their own. Um, so really like I put everything, all of my best stuff at the front. I don't even care if I don't have a single living room or bedroom photo up front anymore. It's all of your best photos so you can catch people's attention immediately.
Okay.
Um, so I probably do a collage photo of at least those three or
Okay.
4, what just make sure that when you make the collage, just, I don't know, kinda make it small, look at it from, like, a mobile version,
Yeah.
and to see, like, can you clearly see that that's a hot tub? Can you clearly tell that's a balcony with a fire? Like, can you really see that? Because if not, like, 70% of people are looking on their phone, and they're gonna
Mhm.
go right by it. Um,
Sure.
so I definitely think that's a start, and remember, when you make adjustments, I do recommend doing one at a time, small adjustments, so you can actually tell what is making the difference, and then leaving it at least 2 to 3 days to really hit the algorithm.
Okay.
Mm. So I would do that, and then once you have those, I don't like to duplicate photos in the first 5, so, like,
Mhm.
obviously put the next best ones, and then you can start putting the living room and the dining room because those look nice as well. The kitchen is huge, that's a beautiful kitchen, I love the, charcuterie and everything. It's very inviting, and especially when you're saying that you can house 10 people, they want to see that they have a place to cook. There's enough
Yeah.
room. So
Okay.
that's
So do
great.
you think along with that, then I should just go back to 10 guests or should I leave it at 8?
I would go back to 10 because I would do that
Okay. Sure.
personally. But I mean, I don't know, because I don't know if Emily knows something, if she's seen stuff that I don't, because she does manage a lot of properties and she might see some things that I don't see.
Okay.
But I
Sure.
have
Yeah.
not seen in my research that that has affected things much,
Okay.
other than a
Sounds-
positive light. Normally, it's always positive because you can get more money.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I saw, I think when it auto tracked, it said like cancellation policy. Do you still have a flexible cancellation?
Yeah, that one I changed as well. I have mainly had moderate, and I think just today I switched it back to flexible.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'd probably leave it on flexible, especially because this is a new listing. I'd probably leave it there for at least the first 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
And really, like, I keep mine there all the time because people are going to cancel if they want to, anyways.
Mm.
But
Okay. Sounds
yeah, that
good.
was so far. Can we go to your actual listing
Yeah.
just to see like a quick view of any other, if there's any red flags or anything? And then who did the photos? Did the program get the photos done?
No, I have a contact named Brandon in the area who he did the photos.
Okay. Uh, I wouldn't say these are the highest quality photos I've seen.
Okay.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then the outdoor areas like the patio or whatever that is and the hot tub, those would be really killer, like evening photos.
Mm.
And that really converts very well. That's like if you can go spend another $200-300, that would be an incredible ROI right there.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
good to know.
Okay, and scroll down. Okay, cool. The rooms are beautiful. Yeah. I don't personally see, obviously, we're not looking at your pricing, but other than that, I don't see any other red flags. So I would not probably, whatever, do the collage, put that in, probably not touch it for a few days. Um,
Okay.
ooh, for people that are on here too, other things that I was seeing people suggest is because we do use property management systems and to try to separate us from the ones that do not have this increased fee, I would try playing around in your title that there's no fees, no service fees. Maybe put it in your title or putting in your listing somewhere, like you do not charge any service fees. Because the guest has no idea what kind of fees you charge until they go to check out. And so they have to get through to you first. So if you can put, okay, two things. Um, if it were me, I'd probably change upscale. I'd probably put all fees included. And then,
Mm.
all right, just a moment. Or no service fee. And then instead of 3 bedroom, I put 10 guests.
Okay.
That's going to be more appealing. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good, Becky. I
Yeah.
think yeah, there's a lot of like actionable stuff. So let me
Yeah.
go ahead and implement those and see what happens. But
Awesome.
yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. And then just come back next week and we can kind of get an update of what's working and what's not.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Okay, cool. Mm, Jay, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, Becky?
I'm pretty good. Uh, do you have a property or you have a
I do.
property, right? Yeah. How is that going?
It's going okay. Actually, I think I'm seeing a little bit of a drop in bookings, but I wasn't sure if it's something to do with the area, it's overall Airbnb or what
Yeah.
have you. What I have seen is the last month, I have gotten many, many more VRBOs versus
Mm,
Airbnbs. So again, I don't know if that's a trend or what have you. I just haven't had the time to go in and dig. Uh,
yeah. Where is your property at?
it's Dallas.
In Dallas, okay.
Yeah.
September in Texas in general, Houston, Dallas, whatever, Austin, San Antonio is like I would probably San Antonio, definitely by far like the slowest month. Like September and January, for some reason, two very odd months, um, are very slow. October is typically okay, and then the holidays. I would say obviously it's going to be a big drop because same thing in our Colorado, summertime is our high season. So making sure that every, August, September, you start to reevaluate your pricing, you're probably going to have to come down in pricing to keep up with the more shoulder to winter months.
Mm-hmm.
So it does make sense things slow down, but still want to be keeping up or ahead of the market.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was going to talk about AirDNA a little bit because Michelle was talking about its seasonality and stuff, but AirDNA is not working for me today. So
Hey,
I was going to
Becky.
pull up. Yeah.
I have a follow-up question on the service fees. We
Yes.
got a reservation just a little while ago, and so we were looking at the details since we couldn't figure out on Airbnb if it was actually set or not. And so if you want to give us another set of eyes to see if it looks like to us that it hasn't switched, but again, if I don't know how to switch it to use the fees, then probably gonna have to make adjustments on pricing. Share here. Oh, it's thinking. Man. There it goes, finally.
There it goes.
Okay.
Okay. So scroll down. Down, down, down.
I'm going.
Yep. Right here.
Cat's yelling
Okay. So,
behind me.
okay. So guest service fee, it's only collecting $44 out of the 403. Yeah. 403.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it isn't. What is that? Should be about $60, right? For the 15%.
Well, 316.20 at what is it, 12.5%? That would be the guest service fee, right? And then down below, they're still charging
Well, even,
the host fee of 3%.
oh yeah, yeah.
So
I
this
mean, the
is
fact that it's even charging a guest at all isn't making sense.
right. So this still
Hmm.
looks like the old way.
Yeah, it's definitely the old way. But you've increased your rates already,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so they're paying. That's just
We're
more in
paying
your
more.
pocket, I suppose. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
interesting.
Must
No,
be
I'm
a
not sure.
conversion that takes a little time.
Yeah, most
Okay.
likely.
All right, well, and again, we confirmed that, and I can show you where I was at earlier to look up I don't have the. And I don't have a service fee option anymore,
Yeah, that's really strange.
so I can't change it to the new. So I assume that was why that they'd already switched us over, but maybe
I
not.
assume so too. Maybe they're just in the process, so things are kind of just little glitches.
Yeah, maybe I'll check with support, Airbnb support. They're probably overwhelmed, but
Yeah. Yep. If it
okay.
were me, I'd probably come back and look tomorrow, kind of
Yeah,
see if things mellow out a little bit.
yeah. I guess worst case, we got more than we expected, at least from an overall fees perspective.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
100%. Okay. Okay, so feel free to ask any questions if you guys have them, just in the meantime. I'm just gonna go through market dashboard. Okay. All right, can you guys see my dashboard? Market dashboard here?
Not yet. You're not
Nope.
sure.
Yeah,
There we
there it
go.
goes.
Now it's coming.
Okay. Okay, so right now I have it set for Arvada Westminster area. Um, this should be, yeah, pretty much the whole area. I do have it. I had it set up for a specific listing, but I must have been looking at the whole area. So obviously, after your first one on Market Dashboard, it's $10 per month per dashboard that you create. So I just had this one already up is why we're looking at it. And I just kind of wanted to go through here and kind of just reiterate, so most people have access to this now because they don't have access to AirDNA. So because the program doesn't offer access anymore because AirDNA has, authorizations or two-factor now that they don't allow multiple people into one account. Anyways, so this is the next best thing, in which I love Price Labs just as much. Um, but I love it for different reasons, right? I love Price Labs because it's primarily for your dynamic pricing and being able to control and customize your pricing. And then it has some also market data in it. And then there's AirDNA, who is primarily or Airbnb data, and then also offers some kind of pricing help as well. So I like to utilize them for what they're originally for, but I also like to utilize both to kind of compare. So a big thing with Price Labs, though, traditionally, AirDNA includes cleaning fee when they talk about revenue. Any of those additional fees, cleaning fees, Price Labs does not. So when you look at like people's revenue or estimated revenue, that is not inclusive of cleaning fees. So you're typically going to see like I don't know, I'd say on average like $20,000 difference between what Price Lab says and what AirDNA says. This is a great place to come in and create a comp list. You can create multiple different comp lists, and based on that comp list, you can go and have a refined top 10, or you can create a very select area, such as a neighborhood or a new neighborhood. And then you can search based on just that comp list. And then you can filter down to exactly what you're looking for. I'm really big on looking at, the bedrooms, and I don't care about guests. I want typically a 4.7 star or more. I like to see at least 20 or more reviews. That's just due to I want to know that the property's been around enough that the platform's information makes sense. Because if the property's brand new, they're going to have no idea on its performance. Pricing active nights. I also do 180 active nights. Again, just making sure that the listing has enough history that these softwares can pull accurate data from it or a good estimate. And then I also try to do people who are use dynamic pricing as well as, yeah, mostly just ones who use dynamic pricing. Okay. Anyways, you can go in here, filter for those properties. You can go check out all their Airbnb listings, really refine the comp list that you want. So I create comp lists in Price Labs, in AirDNA, and in Airbnb. I kind of use them because they have little bit different information or different way of how they say it, I guess, and provide the information. So it just helps me give a good broad idea of what I'm looking at. Um, I do
Okay.
a wish list on Airbnb. That way I can go and look at exactly what they're pricing for months in advance. I can see my top comps. I can see who's booked and who isn't, and why the people who are not booked, why they're not booked.
Becky, quick question. When you're
Yeah,
making these like comp lists, do you try to actively seek out the same exact properties for all the different platforms that you're looking on, like Price Labs, AirDNA, and everything, and try to get the same exact listings on all of them to have the same comp list?
I do. Yeah, because typically I mean, they shouldn't vary too much if I really filter down. They should be pretty similar. Um, yeah,
Cool, thanks.
yeah. That made me think. I wonder if you can. If you found, I like to find my comps on AirDNA first, just I find it much easier to figure out their revenue. And because I'm trying to compete with the, create that benchmark. If I'm estimating to make 130,000, I want to make sure that I'm comparing with people around that range as well. And so I try to find them on AirDNA, and then I put them into my wish list because you can link right to Airbnb. And then I believe you should be able to put anybody's, I didn't even think about, you can go and put their um, Airbnb title in here. Maybe it'll just find it. I don't know. Oh, that's Compass name. Instead of having to filter through everything. Anyways. Okay. And then they still have, obviously, the estimated rental revenue, ADR. You can adjust these, go to whichever kind you want. I always make sure to do bedroom filters. If we're looking at, 3 bedrooms, I look at 2 to 3 bedrooms, just so I have enough comps depending on your location. If there's plenty of 3 bedrooms or whatever size room you have in your area, then I would, if you have 500, 600,000 3 bedrooms, then you can compare to only 3 bedrooms. But if you only have like 10 3 bedrooms compared to one up, one down, it'll provide that median price and give you an idea. The things that I use the most in here, I don't really use. Like, this information is pretty, like, by the time that it tells me there's an increase of 23% on these days, to me that means I've already missed the opportunity. So this to me is not very helpful. What I mostly use is future occupancy, future pricing, and then future length of stay. I want to know how to optimize my high demand events and then see ahead of time what's happening. So, like, first thing I'll do is in future occupancy, I'll go and I'll be like, okay, something's going on in May. There's an increase in occupancy in May compared to any of the other days, in this spring. Like, okay, why? What's going on in May? Well, obviously, we know it's most likely a graduation of some sort. This is Arvada, I believe they probably still have graduation or something in May. That's what most places is going to be. So I'm like, okay, great. There's an increase in demand for occupancy. So next thing I'm going to do, if that is May 2nd, 1st, 2nd, I'm going to come over here to future prices. And at this point, I would be filtered down to my property size. But May 1st and 2nd, if you're a newer property, you're going to be within that 50 to 75th percentile. If you're a well-established property, it might be a little bit higher. I don't bank on these exact numbers, but it gives me a range that I should be in. If I'm at 200 and I'm like, holy cow, I could probably be getting 300-400, I know I need to make adjustments. And if my place hasn't been booked yet, then I need to increase that price because the demand is high. And then I can come down to length of stay, and I can say, okay, so normally I have a 3-night minimum, anything 90 days and beyond. But for this specific event, I mean, it says that 3 to 4 days, there are 59 reservations made for 3 to 4 day stays. And for 5 to 6, there's 12 reservations made. So being at that 3-night minimum is probably a good idea. If I was far enough out, if I was probably 6+ months, I might make this a 4-night minimum just to try to boost it even more. Not boost it more, but try to maximize it even more. And then from there, I'm going to go into hospitable. If you're using hospitable, and I'm going to go to that date, and I'm going to make sure nobody can check in or out on the day of the event. That way they have to book the high price nights that I have. Because I don't want them, if my event's on Saturday, I want them to book Friday and Saturday night at whatever, $400. I don't want them to book Saturday through Monday, and then I'm getting low prices for Sunday. So in theory, this market dashboard is what Price Labs Automations is gaining their information from. But there's many times in here where you'll notice, like here, prices are super high. This is 4th of July. That makes sense. Let's look at something. Sometimes there'll be some spikes very randomly, maybe the end of May here, but there's no occupancy at the end of May. So where are they getting these prices from? So these are probably from last year or prior years. Well, there could have been a one-time event, you know, a concert, something like that happening on this day. Now they're overestimating demand and they're increasing the price when it shouldn't be. So I don't ever look at just prices. I always make sure to look at occupancy as well to kind of verify. But price labs, you know, automations will automatically increase that rate when it shouldn't be increased. I'm not a big fan of recency, like they have the recency booking factor as a new customization under, yeah, on the main pricing dashboard. I'm not a big fan of that. To me, it does not matter how long it's been since I've been booked, unless it's like if you haven't had a booking in 30 days or something crazy, then obviously I'm concerned. But for the most part, throughout the year, how often I get bookings definitely fluctuates. Obviously, for summertime, you're going to get bookings really far in advance. Your summer times are going to get filled up. So then once you hit summer, you're not going to get bookings very often because most of your months are already booked. Um, Wintertime, it's going to be the opposite. You're going to get a lot more last minute, but your occupancy is still slower. That just depends on the time of year. I don't think that's a good factor to consider. Ooh, they've added some new ones. I haven't seen these booking curves. So this is why I get involved. So Price Labs has um, their training section where they do webinars like every week. And I try to do these every few months just to keep up on all the new features that they add into the dashboard, into the portfolio analysis, and to all these different sections that they have. They offer a ton of information. And so if you just watch them every few months, you keep up to date, understand what kind of information they're providing for you. Mhm. Go down under here, under fees and policies. So a lot of the time you'll notice when you look at these that it claims that people who have a 0% um, discount option, like they're not offering any discount and they're getting all of these bookings, that they're the highest converting, you know, percentage. Obviously that is not accurate. That is more so of like people who are just not offering. It's like it has to make sense, right? Whenever you're looking at this stuff, what makes sense? Obviously, people who have offer a higher discount are going to have a better conversion than offering nothing at all. But this is saying that um, out of the percentage of listings, that 25% of listings have a 0% monthly discount, and out of 21% of those are converting. So the amount of listings that have it, that makes sense. The conversion is considered very low. So it looks like here, the best converting monthly discount according to Price Labs is going to be in that 25, like 20 to 25% plus, 26, 30%. Obviously, the more of a discount, the better it's going to convert. It also says 1 to 5. That's for 4% of listings, so not a lot of people. For cleaning fees, I don't have any bedrooms set on here, so this is obviously these numbers are going to be a crazy range because it goes all the way from studio to really large homes. And then nowadays, the only way that Price Labs is able to determine what kind of cleaning fee you have is when you first set up the listing, it asks you if you are separating or if you're doing a separate cleaning fee or if you're merging it into your pricing. And so they really have no way to determine what your actual cleaning fee is nowadays. So I would not put too much consideration to this. It's going to kind of be old information. Anyways, you can go through all of these. I highly recommend for each of your properties to have one of these. A market dashboard. When you set it up, you can turn it off so that you use it one time. You pay your $10, you get your information you need that helps you set up, and then you come back in 3 months or 6 months to kind of update everything. Ooh, what the other one that sorry, there's another chart that I use a lot. I didn't see it when it went by. Okay, so other than future length of stay, this one right below it. Okay, I will like went on a totally different tangent, not realizing they changed the name on this. So this has nothing to do with recency, as in the customization. But the way that I like to look at this is if you go to over here to the chart options, 30 days, booking by length of stay and booking window. I used to go over this a lot. This is just based on how you like to visualize it. This chart right here makes the most sense to me. If you look at this column right here, the way this is reading, this is how I determine minimum night stays. So when I'm setting up a new property and I'm like, how do I want to maximize their minimum night stays and not just like do what everybody else is doing? I come into here and I'm like, okay, great. There's 173 bookings for a one night stay. There is within 2 to 6 days. So super last minute. There's 142 for 2 nights, 103 for 3 nights within 2 to 6 days. So that's super last minute. There's a significant amount of 1, 2, 3 nighters. So obviously I've had this refined to the size of home I have because small homes can have a much different lead time than a larger home would. I don't focus on these, you know, basically 8 to 28 day or 29 day plus. I think about what makes sense to me is what is the chance for like here for 29 day plus stays booked within one day. What is the chance of that? What is the chance of someone saying today I'm going to book a month-long stay somewhere and just like I'm going to do it based on today? Like I don't think that there's 17 reservations that were made that spontaneously. So I look at the information that makes more sense. What this is most likely, let me do it. No. Okay, so for the 17 day, when it says 28 days plus, there are 17 reservations made within one day. The likelihood of this is that there were multiple reservations made very close in time, and Price Labs could not tell the difference between those different reservations. They could have been, Monday through Wednesday and then Wednesday through Friday and, next whatever. All that Price Labs and AirDNA are doing is they're just going on your public listing, like the same listing your guests would see. They're looking at it every 30 seconds. They're like, okay, these dates were available, now they're not available. So if someone books multiple reservations within that period of time, then they're assuming that it's a longer stay than it is. So just consider what makes sense. My personal rule of thumb, if one night stays make up more than a third of the stays, I'll typically allow it only last minute and only during the weekday, especially in a location that has like a lot of business people coming through or local sports events. And like my property in San Antonio, I have a lot of passer-throughs during the weekdays. I have a lot of families that travel within Texas for their kids' sports events. They come on Tuesday, Wednesday night for their kids' soccer game, um, things like that. So I keep one-nighters open super last minute if the data right here tells me that it makes sense. I would not do this in locations like, you know, Fort Lauderdale, where it's majority of people are staying 3, 4+ nights, up to 7 nights, because it's a vacation destination. And then I can even see just from these columns that a majority of people in this location are at this, based in the last 30 days, are booking within 2 to 4 months. Not many people are booking, 4+ months out. And then a majority of people are booking 2 to 6 days in general. So it is very normal. Like right now, if you don't have a ton of bookings for November, December, that makes a lot of sense because you still have majority of your bookings being booked 2 to 30 days out. If you're probably to do the numbers on these, what is this? 1,000 weeks. 1,500, 1,600. It's around 1,600 reservations made within a month and a little over 800 made past that. So again, you're looking at 60, 70% of your reservations being made within a month. AirDNA, the reason I like AirDNA for this one is they obviously break it down exactly based on last year, how many bookings. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on what that even looks like right now. Anyways, they break it down really nicely of how many bookings were made, you know, 15 days out, a month out, 30 days, or 2 months, whatever it is. Just a little bit easier to the eye than this does. Okay. Well, I'm kind of rambling now. So, are there any, we have a few minutes left. Are there any more questions? And if you guys ever have like topics you guys want me to talk about in the next call, right now I just have my call set up as like Q&A time. People like just giving people opportunities to come in and work on their pricing, work on their listing, whatever it is. And if you guys have any specific topics you want me to go over in these calls for a majority of the call, please let me know. And I'm more than happy to do so.
Becky, I don't know if you answered this already, but it was something I put in the chat. Is there a way to create a
Hmm.
comp list without having a live listing in the neighborhood data area?
I don't believe there is.
Okay.
Well, yeah. In the you'd have to make a market. Hold on, let me look. I don't think you have to have a live listing to do that. Is it requiring you to?
Yeah, because it's gonna search for it'll only allow you to search for something next to your your listing's address when you're in the neighborhood data.
Oh, do you have a property connected?
So for instance, like let's say I'm getting ready to launch a new property and I just want to figure out the lay of the land as I'm making decisions. And I just want to
Mhm.
look at like 6 people nearby where it is and I want to see their pricing every single day. Like, what's the best way to do that before you actually launch?
Well, I have AirDNA. So when I do my underwriting, I'm finding 3 to 5 comps, and those are the comps that I'm going to be using for my pricing as well. And then I can add those into Airbnb and I can add them into Price Labs. If you don't have that, it'll just be a little bit more manual. I would go into the market dashboard
Mm-hmm.
and I would find them. I would build my comp list there
Mm-hmm.
because you can. So when you build the market dashboard, it'll give you an option to pick the radius that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And you can pick the radius you want around your property. And then when you go into the market dashboard, you'll filter for the bedroom sizes you want. And then you'll be able to go filter through everything and look at each individual one. And then when you save that comp list, you can pull up that specific comp list in neighborhood data.
Even if it's not near your current listing, you know what I mean? Like, because let's say my current listing is in South Carolina and I wanted to find out about a property I was launching in Georgia that's not live yet. Would it let me see the comp list in Georgia on my North Carolina listing and neighborhood data?
You should be able to.
Okay. I
You should be able to
tried
if you find them. If you find them in the market dashboard, I think it would work.
because it said that it couldn't show it to me because it's not near my listing. So weird, right?
Mm.
It
Yeah,
shouldn't be.
I guess that is if it's specific to that. Like the neighborhood data is only for that property. I haven't tried to do that. Well,
Okay.
you can create, I mean, you can create, just create an Airbnb listing right now based on that address and then connect it to Price Labs. Even if you're not ready yet, you don't have the photos, connect it to Price Labs, and then you'll have that there with
Oh,
the
it doesn't
neighborhood
have to be
data.
live? Okay,
Do you use
great.
do you use Hospitable?
I do, but I
Okay.
thought it needed to be live in order to pull it in.
Nope. Nope.
No.
I
Okay.
always set up pricing prior to it being live.
Okay. All right. So there is a way to do it without it being live through Hospitable. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. And then you just connect it to Hospitable through Price Labs, right?
Yeah. So since you already have it connected to Hospitable, you'll just go in and wait, hold on, let me screen share. Okay, so when you're ready to reconnect, so you already have Hospitable connected technically. You're just trying to pull in a new listing. So
Mm-hmm.
once you connect your new listing to Hospitable, you'll just come in here and go to re-input and then put Hospitable, and then you'll connect your under
Okay.
here, it'll give you your name and your Hospitable account, and then it'll pull up you have one new listing.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
just put in some fake photos or whatever. As long as it has the address, that should work.
And then I just have one more technical question. You know, with the migration for if you're using a PMS where you now have to list, I guess the full price, not the just your price.
Yep.
It looks like Airbnb automatically changed my cleaning fee to a higher price on its own. Once I connected Hospitable's option that said, "Oh, we'll fix it for you." When I went back into Airbnb, my cleaning fee went up. Did that happen because it's trying to make sure that it's covering the price even with the cleaning fee now?
Most likely because the service fee is going to take out from the cleaning fee as well. So
Okay.
Hospitable is automatically try to increase
Okay.
everything.
So the cleaning fee went up, and I'm assuming that's everybody's gonna have the same thing, so not to worry about mine being higher now, right?
Yeah, yep. We
Okay.
mentioned it earlier in the call too, is most of the time when you come out, most people in the program are not going to be competing with people who don't have some sort of management system because we're just at a
Mhm.
different level. So when your comps are in the top 10% of properties, they're all going to have either a property manager or a property management system. The likelihood is that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So not to
So it
worry.
shouldn't be an issue. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone with it. Yeah. We're all on the same page. The ones that do have it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Of course. All right, cool. Did we get your question, Kim? I see the chat. I think we already went through it, but
Yeah, that was from earlier. So yeah, we
okay.
covered.
All right, sounds good. All right, guys. Well, Emily will be on Wednesday, and I'll see you guys next week.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Bye.